Day number 4, Chicago Bears training camp is in the books. I was there again thanks to a friend that gave me tickets last minute, and let's talk about what happened in camp today. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears training camp update video, which I'll be doing every single day of training camp this year. So if you guys want my thoughts, my opinions, my reaction on what happened in camp every single day, definitely be sure to subscribe to my channel. Shout out to my friend on Twitter, which I'll link their Twitter handles down below if you guys want to follow them. They also make content about the Bears, but I went with them, had a lot of fun with them, talking about the Bears. And I also, at the end of practice, met Lucas Patrick, took a bunch of pictures with him. My cousin actually gave Lucas Patrick his phone and was like, hey, can you take some pictures with us? And Lucas Patrick just goes crazy, taking as many pictures as possible. He takes like 50, 60 pictures in like various angles, various facial expressions. So that was super fun, talking with Lucas Patrick and taking those pictures with him. And I have to say, he's a very, very fun guy, very outgoing, has high energy, obviously, like you guys know from the videos you've seen on Twitter and YouTube. So love talking with Lucas Patrick. Also, shout out to Josh Blackwell for also taking a picture with us. He's also a very nice guy. He followed me back on Twitter as well, so appreciate Josh Blackwell as well. I haven't got to meet with Justin Fields yet because that's going to be pretty difficult. He's a busy man. He has a lot of autographs to sign, a lot of responsibilities after practice, so that's going to be pretty difficult. But I do have DMs going with him, with Justin Fields, because he reached out after I made that hype video for him, which he loved. The one that is like 7 minutes long, the superhero one. So he loved that. Maybe one day I'll actually meet Justin Fields too. But enough talk about me. Let's talk about what actually happened in practice today. And it was mostly focused on the red zone today. So a lot of the offensive drills were just like red zone type of drills. Okay, so doing a lot of red zone type of work. And Robert Tonyan, guys, our backup tight end, made a lot of plays today in the red zone, and that's been a recurring theme so far in camp. Okay, a few days ago, it might have even been yesterday, he actually did have a pretty fantastic grab in the end zone, and today in practice he had another 2 touchdowns. Okay, one where he had to extend a little bit, jump for it, and one where he was completely wide open, just smoked his guy. And Justin Fields and him have been developing a pretty good chemistry together in the limited time they've been playing together, and I don't think that's a bad thing for Cole Kmet either, guys. Like, I think that every time Bears fans talk about Robert Tonyan and praise him, some other Bears fans are like, oh, does that mean that Cole Kmet now is tight end number 2? No, it does not, obviously, because we extended Kmet, first of all, to a 4-year contract worth $50 million. So, obviously he's not going to be a secondary tight end if that's how much money we're giving him. And also, Cole Kmet does stuff that's different than Robert Tonyan. Okay, Robert Tonyan is more of the receiver specialist, while Cole Kmet can actually block compared to Tonyan. So Kmet can be on the field for every single down when Tonyan is only going to be on the field for passing downs, because he can't block nearly as good as Cole Kmet can. So the two can coexist on the same team, guys, I promise. Like, they're going to make each other better because in 12 personnel, it's going to be hard to defend both of them because Cole Kmet also does have his own receiving abilities as well, which he put on display today too. Okay, Kmet also had a pretty fantastic touchdown, which was a beautiful, beautiful throw by Justin Fields, which I'll put on the screen right now for you guys to see. So you can see, very, very good accuracy by the quarterback, very good play by the tight end there as well, getting that touchdown. But going back to Robert Tonyan, I mean, getting a secondary option at tight end that's this athletic, this much of a receiver, a guy that's fast going down the field too. I mean, that's going to be big for this offense if we do want to expand that passing attack, because a good passing attack has multiple great options at receiver, at tight end for their quarterback. It doesn't only have one Cole Kmet or one Darnell Mooney. It usually has, one DJ Moore, one Chase Claypool, one Darnell Mooney, one Cole Kmet, one Robert Tonyan. Now, like, we're actually stacking and building up weapons now on this team for the first time in a long, long time. So that's going to help out this passing attack a lot when the season actually begins. But going to the next story of the day, I do want to talk about Justin Fields and his day. How did he look today? And personally, I thought he looked pretty damn good out there for the vast majority of practice, aside from like a few plays. So one of the bad plays actually was an interception thrown in the end zone to Adrian Colbert, a backup safety, in which there was nothing open. I didn't see any guy open. He probably should have just thrown the ball away, but he tried to fit the ball into a tight window. It got intercepted. The safety jumped the route, and it was an interception for the offense. But I'm also not gonna overreact too much of that because it's only practice right now. So if nobody is open, obviously in real life you do want to throw that ball away, but in practice you might want to see what you can get away with. So when the game starts, you're not going to throw a ball like that. And hopefully Fields doesn't when the game starts, because that was a bad pick. But aside from that play and maybe like a few other off throws, he looked really good throughout all of practice. And he wasn't only targeting DJ Moore, he was spreading the ball out to multiple different receivers. He hit Cole Kmet for a touchdown like I talked about. He hit He did hit DJ Moore for a touchdown too. The two have connected every single practice, so obviously he did that as well. And that throw to DJ Moore, man, that was a good play. I don't think the Bears recorded that. I didn't get that on video either, but Kyler Gordon was on coverage there, and Kyler Gordon was like centimeters, inches away from making that play, but Justin Fields put the ball only where DJ Moore could make a play on it. DJ Moore makes that fantastic grab right in the end zone, and it's a touchdown for the offense. So like plays like that, man, that only happens if you have your receiver number one, which we do now in DJ Moore. He also had touchdowns to, let me see my notes. So he had touchdowns obviously to Robert Tonyan, which I talked about. He also had a touchdown to Equinemius St. Brown, in which that was a good drive. Going down the field, I think that was on 7-on-7s. He attacked the middle of the field on that drive a lot. He hit Cole Kmet, DJ Moore for like big plays going down the field. And then in the end zone, he finished it off with a strike to Equinemius St. Brown for the touchdown, which EQ St. Brown, guys, don't sleep on him making this roster. I think he definitely is going to make this roster because first of all, he's a good blocker, and I know that this coaching staff does value blocking, but second of all, he's already developed a chemistry with Fields last year, and I know that he's obviously not a great receiver. You don't want to see him on the football field, you know, because he's not going to be making crazy plays for you, but as a receiver number 5, 6, 7, he's totally fine to stay on this roster because he could be decent depth for, you know, for the Chicago Bears. So we had those touchdowns. We also had a touchdown to Velus Jones, which was a quick strike from Justin Fields, like a fast, rapid fire, you know, pass, and Velus caught it for the touchdown. He started celebrating afterwards, and, you know, Velus also has had a much better camp, I would say. Well, I don't want to say that because I think that last year he also had a pretty decent camp, but when the season started, that's when, you know, bad stuff started happening. So I guess we have to wait and see if this is going to translate into the real games, but Velus has made a lot of plays so far in camp, you know, both stretching the field as a dump-off option and then just taking the ball after that, because you guys have to remember he is very, very fast, very, very explosive. So this coaching staff does value explosive players, so maybe that's why he's going to be making this roster, you know, also returning punts and returning kicks if he can, hopefully not fumble like he did last year. So got that touchdown to Velus. There was also a play in which there was nobody open down the field, so Justin Fields just took the ball in himself, ran it in for the touchdown, which we've seen so often already during his time in the NFL. But going forward, obviously we're hoping it's not going to be as common, him running in for the touchdown himself, because we want the playmakers around him to be doing that, you know, for him. But today he only ran it in once, and so far in camp we haven't seen him running with the football that much at all. So they are emphasizing the passing attack so far in camp, and it's been looking good so far, guys. I mean, obviously, pads are not on, so we can't judge the offensive line. We can't judge how Fields looks under pressure. So far, it's been a lot of just, you know, throwing against air, basically. But I'm still optimistic about how it's looking right now compared to, you know, last year at this point, because last year at this point, we weren't getting positive reports about the offense whatsoever, but it's looking a lot better so far this year. Next, I do want to talk about Tremaine Edmunds, our biggest signing of the offseason, because he actually had a pick 6 today in camp. So going up against PJ Walker threw a ball to Velus Jones. Velus Jones actually bobbled the ball up, couldn't catch it, so it goes up. It's like a tip drill type of situation, and Tremaine Edmunds comes away with the ball, makes it go the other way for that pick 6, and he celebrates with his teammates, which I'll put the video on the screen right now, but you guys can see, I mean, that's a fun play for the defense. And I love that energy afterwards too, because we have to get that swagger back on this defense. Like, they have to have confidence not only in themselves but in their teammates as well, and getting that good energy, that good chemistry going, you know, early in camp is a good thing for this defense, because they have to be much better next season. So adding a guy like Tremaine Edmunds, who, you know, in Buffalo, he's made some big time plays for the Buffalo Bills, maybe not having a crazy amount of interceptions, but he does have the length and the size to get interceptions, and maybe in this defense, he is going to explode for having a lot more interceptions than he's had so far in his career because of the hits principles, and playing with good linebackers around him too, like playing with a guy like TJ Edwards, with a guy like Jack Sanborn, you know, maybe Noah Sewell, the rookie, if he has to come in. Like, we got good level talent now in this linebacking core, and Tremaine Edmunds is going to be spearheading that linebacking group. But going to the next story of the day, I do want to talk about Roschon Johnson now, which I haven't talked about so far, but I do want to talk about his pass pro ability, because I was sitting right there when the running backs were doing their pass pro drills against the linebackers, so I had the best view of this. I took one video as well of Roschon Johnson in pass pro against, I can't even see who that is, but you guys can probably look up his number, but he looked the best in pass pro out of all the running backs by far, in my opinion. Okay, Khalil Herbert did not look good whatsoever in pass pro. I don't think he's improved that much in pass pro because he's just not big enough, in my opinion, guys. Like, I know you can use good technique, you can get stronger to some extent, but if you don't have the height and the size to be a good pass blocker. Eventually, you're just not going to be a good pass blocker. And I think that Khalil Herbert is never going to be a truly decent or good pass protector. He whiffed a lot of times today in practice on these pass pro drills, and I didn't see much improvement from last year, if I'm being honest. Now, it's super early. There's not pads on yet, so until pads go on, again, it's really hard to tell who's actually winning these battles and who's not, because the defenders probably are not going as hard as they would with the pads on. So, you know, I guess it's kind of wait and see type of thing. But Roschon Johnson, man, if he wants to be on the field for the Chicago Bears in his rookie year, I think that pass protection is going to be the reason why he will be on the football field. Now, he does have to improve as a receiver, though, because he did have a few drops today. He worked on the jugs machines after practice for a long time to improve his hands, because he did have those drops. But going forward, if you do want to be a third down back, you have to be able to catch the ball too out of the backfield. And in college football, he didn't catch a whole lot, you know, as a receiver. So definitely an area where he has to grow on, but I still think as an all-around back, he's probably more of an all-around type of back than any other back we have on this roster. So maybe down the road, man, maybe after week 7, week 8, or maybe even earlier, we could see Roschon Johnson getting a lot of carries for the Chicago Bears. Going to the next story of the day, I do want to talk about DJ Moore now, okay, receiver number 1, which I've talked about this guy so much, but I do want to bring up a play in which he mossed Jalen Johnson going down the field on one-on-ones. A beautiful, beautiful catch by DJ Moore. I mean, that's where you get a guy like him. That's where you get a true number 1 receiver, because they can make those types of plays going down the field where it seems like they're not open, but if you give him a chance, they may just come down with that catch. And I just love how versatile DJ Moore is as well, because he can make those acrobatic diving catches. He can run a slant and take that to the house. He can, you know, run a go route. He can run over the middle of the field. He can do everything in terms of route running, in terms of, you know, catching the ball, and he's such a good weapon to have, and that's why we traded from pick number 1, you know, to get a guy like him. I mean, that's really going to be the reason why Justin Fields is going to be breaking out as a passer in 2023. It's going to be because he finally got a receiver like a DJ Moore. But going to the next story of the day, I do want to talk about Terrell Smith, the cornerback that we drafted in the 5th round this year. He's been splitting time in both safety and cornerback so far with the second team, but today he actually played with the first team defense, splitting time with Tyreek Stevenson at cornerback only, and that's pretty interesting because it tells me that they are giving Terrell Smith the chance to win this starting outside cornerback job on the other side of Jalen Johnson, even though Tyreek Stevenson was a 2nd round pick. Okay, they're not going to hand this job to Tyreek Stevenson only because of his draft status, which is the way it should be, honestly, because, you know, sometimes you can find those gems in the 4th, 5th round and beyond, which when given the opportunity, they can surprise you and turn into something much better than you thought they were going to be. And more competition is better, guys. Like, the more competition, the merrier. It makes everybody better. So it's good that we have multiple guys now fighting for these jobs, multiple talented guys. It's going to make the whole room a lot better. We still have Kyler Gordon too from last year, which Kyler Gordon, I think he's mostly going to be a nickel cornerback for us, but he also said today in the post-practice interview that he wants to be, you know, splitting time at outside cornerback as well. He wants to learn both outside cornerback and nickel cornerback. So we'll see what happens, you know, with this cornerback room. I think it's very, very talented. I think it's very, very deep. And it could be one major reason why the Bears take a massive step forward on defense in 2023. But that's it for the video, guys. I'll be back with another one on Monday, actually, because the Bears are off tomorrow from practice. So no video tomorrow. I'll be back with one on Monday. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave your comments down below. And as always, bear down.